So tomorrow and Thursday, Browns will have joint practice against the Eagles in Philadelphia. Browns radio analyst Nathan Zegura, what he's watching for in those joint practices.
Well, this is a real measuring stick, right? You're going against the defending Super Bowl champions. You're going to get a lot of starters on Wednesday and Thursday, and then I think the game will be similar to Carolina, a lot of twos and threes going the whole way. I think it'll be our first, opportunity to see Dylan Gabriel and some meaningful teamwork as well. But I'm excited to see Joe Flacco. I'm excited to see our offensive line against their very good defensive line, and our very good defensive line against their very good offensive line. So I think the trenches will be very interesting. And this is one where you want to go and you want to say, look, we can hang, right? We can hang. We can be on this level. Back in 23, we went there and had a good day one. I think day two, the Eagles certainly got the best of us. But, maybe that was a harbinger. That was a Browns team that ended up going to the playoffs that year despite a lot of adversity. So hopefully we can go out there and have a strong showing. But I think it'll be a real good work for our ones against, the defending Super Bowl champs. That's coming off last year, best team in the National Football League. So I think that'll be really, really good work for us.
So, Fred, what would be good things to hear coming out of the joint practices? What would be concerning thing? And the ones are going to play in the joint practices probably aren't going to play on Saturday. They're not. And so these joint practices are more important relative to what's going on with the team than the preseason game. What would be good things to hear? What would be concerning things to hear from the joint practices?
Well, yeah, I circled this from the first time the schedule came out that this was the highlight of training camp, where probably the most decisions when they talked about quarterback competition and so forth. This is really, the Panthers won practice, but then these two against the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, you're going to be able to measure, now you probably won't even measure Kenny Pickett. So see Joe Flacco behind that offensive line. The offensive line of the Browns against the defensive line of the Eagles, which they're noted for, all you had to do was watch the Super Bowl, and they dominated the Super Bowl and led to their win. The quarterback, I think Mahomes couldn't even get the ball off. He was on the ground and hit so many times. So I'm anxious to see, how the veteran offensive line does with DeJuan Jones at left tackle and going against this vaunted defensive line of the Eagles and see if the Browns can get anything going. We talked about Ford and Sampson in the running game. And then on flip it around, I want to see the Browns defensive line going against the Eagles have a good offensive line, although I know they just lost their two guards. Dickerson had a knee injury, their Pro Bowler, and the other one's dinged up too. So I think this still will be a good measuring stick to see how the defensive line looks going against the Eagles' offensive line. I mean, this is the defending Super Bowl champion, so you're going to get as good of a indicator because they're going to go, Sirianni and Stefanski, the reason they're doing this, they're friends, they have similar mindsets, and they want to see each other and be able to measure each other up, as far as the Browns to evaluate how their guys stack up, against the Super Bowl champion in a controlled practice.